What's up? So without saying anything, I'm going to start off with a little bit of music. Is that cool? All right. So, why would this little piece of music mean anything to anybody at all? I mean, we mostly relate to songs with words, right? We remember the lyrics most of all. But music without words is also something that we all can somewhat relate to. Isn't that right? Everybody listens to music here, right? Nobody listens to music? Yes, and everybody has a different response to the music that they hear. And it doesn't particularly have anything to do with how the music was created, but it has a way of speaking to us. So the thing about music, what my aim here is to tell all of you that you do not need to know how music is made to get music, which is something that doesn't really need to be emphasized, because when we all listen to a song or a piece of music, we relate to it in different ways. Like when I was playing right now, different people reacted in different ways. There were people out here in front who went like, yeah, that's my song. And maybe somebody remembered an incident of their lives. Maybe somebody remembered their crush. Maybe somebody remembered their ex. I don't know. When a child is very young, we do not teach that child to speak or learn the grammar of a language. We do not teach that child how sentences are formed. We speak in full, complete sentences with the child, and we expect the child to understand, and the child does. Like, say, a very young child, maybe a few months old, will understand just by the pitch and the expression and the tone of his mother's voice or father's voice as to what is being communicated to him. For example, if he's not supposed to touch something and the mom says no, the kid doesn't know what no means, but he does understand that that is somewhere where he does not have to go. So my aim today is to probably bring that aspect of communication into music, which will probably help the people who want to learn music make music in a lesser academic way. Although understanding the grammar of music is very, very important if you really want to go ahead with making music. But the basis of it is very, very simple. As in, we all know what is harmony, right? And I'm not talking about music. We all know what is harmony, as in everybody's heard of peace and harmony. Come on. We've all heard speeches, right? Everybody knows what's harmony. So what I'm going to show you today with my instrument, hopefully, is that harmony, the concept of harmony expands to not just relationships. And the concept of relationships does not expand to just that. It can be interchanged with music itself. I'll show you a few examples. So yeah. So the thing about school students and college students is that they always hang out in groups, right? Everybody has a group of their own. There are very few kids who hang out by themselves, and even if they do, that's fine, because that can speak a lot. That's one student right there. But there are many of us who hang out together, and we hang out with each other because we like to talk about things. We like to talk about things that interest us, and we get along with people who agree with us or have something to add in our conversations. Is that right? And that's how you make friends. So let's see if I can make some notes as people, and let's find their friends, and let's find people who they don't like, and let's see if we can make a song like that. Is that cool? All right, so say, for example, there's a discussion going on in a group of, say, 3 people. And they're talking about, I don't know, maybe films. So there's probably this film come out that everyone likes. At least these 3 people really like this film. So the first person, let's call that person C. And I did that intentionally because this note is also called a C. I didn't start with A. But anyway, so C says that I really like the film. So C is saying, I like the film. So someone else comes along and agrees with the first person, but does not have the same opinion. He says, I like the film because of these and these reasons. And that person's voice is this. Now, the reason why they can have a conversation is because when we play these 2 notes together, or when we play these 2 opinions together, they sound all right. That sound all right? They are in harmony. Now, what if a third person comes along and that person also has something to add to the conversation? And that person has a different opinion but still is a part of the group. And that person's voice is this. And now if we play all of them together, perfect harmony. They're very happy. It's a very nice conversation. But then again, music isn't this simple, and neither are conversations, right? There are people who disagree. There are people who have slightly different opinions about whatever topic is being discussed. Say, this was our first conversation, which is absolutely harmonious. Everybody is happy. But then there is one particular person who kind of almost agrees with the first person. And he wants to agree with the first person, but is not quite there. And that person's voice is this. So the first person's voice is this. The person I mentioned before this voice is this. Almost there. Let's see how that makes our conversation a little more interesting. And that makes you think that there is more to it than just everybody agreeing, right? So what if the person who disagreed a little bit had a very loud voice and very, very good points? Then that person would probably emphasize their point really, really hard, right? So if that person is louder, say the first 3 are like this, and the last person is like, so that person's opinion is a little stronger, but that leads to, in music, what we call expression. In music, we get to choose what we want to express just by choosing what we want to say. For example, if I wanted to emphasize the opinion of the first person, it would be my loudest note. I played the same chord when people were kind of disagreeing with each other, but it still sounds all right because the maximum part of the discussion is where everyone is agreeing with everybody. Now, suppose this particular group is having this conversation, like sometimes they're agreeing, sometimes they're not. Sometimes maybe the person with the first opinion had something more to say. Then that person adds to their first opinion. And you feel like you have gone forward. And that's where we add an extra note which is higher in pitch and with a little more of an emphasis, or maybe. Now this is where things get funny. What happened now was one person came into this conversation who doesn't quite agree with anybody at all. And that person is this. Now this person was probably, in another group and kind of got interested in what the conversation was all about and came to speak to our first group of people and said something that neither of them agreed with. And so the entire conversation became something like this. So we all get a sense and feeling that something's not right, isn't it? This sounds like something's not right. Whereas we started off with where everything's all right. So, but then no one says that this is not a discussion. This can also be a conversation. It's just that we all want to move towards a conversation where everybody's happy and agreeing. Say, for example, if the first conversation was really good, and if there was another group who was talking about the same film but had a completely different set of opinions, they would probably have a completely different voice, and some of the opinions might overlap and some may not. But we will know instinctively that the two conversations go well together just by the nature of the two chords that I'm going to play. The first chord, first conversation. The second conversation. And do we all agree that these two go very well together? But there was another group that did not agree with them at all, and they were talking about something else completely, which is, say, politics. It has nothing to do with what they were talking about, and that person's conversation was, say, and that doesn't go very well with this, or say, that doesn't really sit quite well with the first conversation. So just like how we communicate with people, there is context in everything that we do. That we talk about. You cannot have a discussion without context, without sticking to a certain agreed set of unsaid rules. The same thing goes for music, and that can be written down academically, but that's not the point of this. So we can have different conversations that agree with each other, and we can make a set of these conversations. Now, if I condense all of that into the opinion of one single person, I would probably get one person with many opinions that leads to a discussion that he's having with himself, a supporting discussion, something that he doesn't really want to talk about but it's still on his mind, or say something else that's a little optimistic and a little more part of his original topic. Something that reminds him of a sad day. Maybe rain, momos, I don't know. That first time you probably met that very beautiful girl. That first time you got broken up with. And when you finally realize that life is about every single thing, every single experience. And that's how I think musicians make songs. So what we're going to do today is we're going to try and make a song. Let's see. The first chord that we spoke about, where everyone was agreeing with everybody, harmony, right? Everyone's good with this? Everyone recognizes this? Yes. This is the supporting conversation where everyone agrees with everyone. All right. This is when you're thinking about the breakup. And this is when you're optimistic and, good things are happening. Now, if I play all of these together, they speak to each other just like they individually speak to each of us. Let's see. Let's put it in a rhythm and see if we can make a song out of it. Sound like a song? There comes the guy who doesn't agree with anybody. Doesn't work in this song, does it? So that's how you choose when you don't want something to be a part of your overall conversation. But what I'm going to do now is, say, suppose I was standing on top of a hill and watching these four conversations happening, and I wanted to pick out the best things that I found in these conversations. And let's say I had another opinion of my own that I wanted to speak on top of this. So if these chords are playing back, let's see if I can come up with my own expression and opinion based on all of these people's conversations. Let's go. So sing along. One more time. I can't hear you. And you all just finished my song. Thank you so much. You all got music.